this is basically what America is all about.
Yeah.
It's about
days off,
stuffing
NFL.
your face, stuffing your face and shop till you drop. Already, I was joking, in school life, the amount of holidays there are in September, October, and November between obviously religious holidays, national holidays. God,
it's tough to get an education.
Yeah, I mean, no one's learning anything. No one's learning anything.
Our son's schools definitely closed Wednesday through Friday.
Cash.
Ladies and gentlemen, group chat.
Cash.
It's $1 trillion. Hot.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Group Chat, the number one podcast in the world. We are entering a mega holiday weekend. We have Thanksgiving, we have Black Friday, we have Cyber Monday. People are shopping, eating. What else are they doing? Watching a ton of sports, but we're going to catch up with some news. Still talking.
We'll find out if they're shopping. We'll find out.
We'll find out
to
Monday.
To be determined.
Yeah, we'll find out Monday about shopping. We are talking Disney and Bob Iger. We are talking housing prices. We're talking the best airports in America, and you will be surprised what's the top of this list. And then we're talking World Cup, Saudi Arabia, and winners, losers, and content. And don't forget, everyone, December 6th, West Hollywood. We have an event. The link is in the bio of our Instagram. If you want to attend, you RSVP. We will then be sending out a Google Sheet form because this is a white elephant party, and you have to bring something of value to the party. It could be 15 minutes of your time. If you're a lawyer, you could bring promise a picture of someone. If you're a photographer, it could be anything. The idea is to help each other, help our community, and meet all the amazing Kathys out there. Also, stay tuned. We're doing a big name change on the Group Chat NFT. We're dropping NFT from it. We're leaning towards the Kathy Club. So stay tuned for that as well, because that will be launching as well. But don't forget the event, December 6th, link in bio on Instagram. I'll be posting it as well, so check it out. Let's get into it. All right, Kathys, welcome back to another episode, and more importantly, a special holiday episode right before Thanksgiving. It is, in America, a huge week for many reasons. One, obviously, it's Thanksgiving on Thursday. Pilgrims, Indians. I don't even know why we celebrate it at this point, except for it's a long-ass week where nobody does any work. We also have Black Friday, the biggest shopping day of the year, that flows into Cyber Monday, which is the biggest online shopping day of the year. All to say, it is a great week for Americans to be gluttonous on food, travel, and shopping.
And don't forget the NFL. It's the biggest day in the NFL other than the Super Bowl. Thanksgiving Day.
Thanksgiving Day, 3 NFL games. And this year we have World Cup, which also adds another level. And then college football, big weekend for college football. So, I mean, this is basically what America is all about.
Yeah.
It's about
days off,
stuffing
NFL.
your face, stuffing your face and shop till you drop.
So what do you, in your business, did people even check in this week, or have they all been off?
Yeah, it's a mix. I mean, if you're a brand, you're all on right now. You're focused on your consumer side of your business. If you're a wholesale business, it doesn't matter. You're not working. Retailers, the work's been done. So unless you're actually running a store, you're basically just fingers crossed, hope the traffic is there. But then in the other industries, forget it. There's nobody working.
Yeah, like our investors pinging you guys?
No, all quiet. All quiet on the Western Front there.
Mm-hmm.
So I definitely think it's...
So people took what is supposed to be 2 days off to 8 days off.
Yeah, which, already I was joking, in school life, the amount of holidays there are in September, October, and November between obviously religious holidays, national holidays.
It's tough to get an education.
Yeah, I mean, no one's learning anything. No one's learning anything.
Our Mav schools definitely closed Wednesday through Friday. I don't know. What about Dom and Miles? Are they the whole week?
The whole week, yeah. Teacher conference.
Okay. Yeah.
So, yeah, look, I think, we'll have to see how, I'm really curious to see how the consumer is this week. I haven't heard any early reads from any retailer on how Black Friday is going. The only thing I did see is that Thanksgiving travel is pre-pandemic levels. So travel is
that makes sense.
Absolutely on fire. I don't think any recession or inflationary causes are causing anyone to slow down on the travel front. So we'll see. Now it's really about shopping. The news that you are seeing is, I don't know if you've been following this, TJ Maxx and the Ross stores both hit an all-time high this week. And their businesses are
all-time high in stock price, you're saying?
All-time high in stock prices. And these are massive companies. These aren't like, startups by any stretch of the imagination. I think TJ Maxx is like a $75 billion company. $93 billion company, all-time high. And I saw Ross stores also hit an all-time high. Burlington stock went up like 20% today. And I was reading through all their earnings, and they all had really good earnings. Nothing great. They all kind of shared the same cautiousness about the consumer. But they all said they're going to have great years next year because of all the excess inventory. And they're seeing, and we saw this in Walmart and Dollar Trees and the Dollar Generals, is that the high-end consumer, and in this case, the high-end consumer is anyone that makes over $100,000, is now trading down and shopping at these stores. And, obviously we've all been high off of, the good times, but I spend a lot of time because of my business in a lot of these discount retailers. And I think I've said this before, is the value is incredible. Like, go shop a Dollar General, a Dollar Tree, a 99-cent store, a Ross, a Burlington, or TJ Maxx. I find it very hard if you are a price-sensitive consumer to shop anywhere else. You get exactly the category you want. You may not get the color, you might not get the exact SKU, but if you need something, they have it, and they have it at a very reasonable price.
It's very different than 10, 15 years ago. 20 years ago, when we were much younger. You go to a TJ Maxx and a Ross, the selection was just like crap.
Yeah.
Now you have every brand because there's so many brands, and there's so many brands across different price categories.
Yeah.
That there's really no reason. Like, Macy's has to be just taking a blood.
But they're
bath,
not.
right?
I think what Macy's,
because the difference is, sorry to interrupt, but Macy's, Nordstrom's, and all these kind of mid-tier / high-tier retailers, they have expensive real estate versus TJ Maxx and Ross are in like, the shopping plaza down the street. They're not at the Beverly Center. They're not at the Grove. They're not at all these places. So they have like an inherent advantage because their rent costs are so much lower. Yeah. And if you're getting the same retail mix, how do these guys survive?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just a different consumer. That's really what it is. What we're seeing is like a true bifurcation of consumers. So you have the higher end consumer, which, the higher end of the market has now expanded beyond what it was years ago. And that consumer wants what they want, and they're willing to pay for it. And that middle class in America is shrinking. So those people are either getting, a few percentage of people are getting kicked to the high end, and a big chunk are getting kicked to the low end. And I think, I also think the consumer now is more educated, and they're willing to spend money on certain things. And if it's important to them, they'll go up the chain and spend the money on the brand, the product, the category, whatever it is. Like, footwear is a category where Americans are willing to spend money on. I don't know if that's the case like in India. I don't think spending money on footwear is where they're going to spend their money. Whereas in America, shoes matter. Brand on shoes matter. Like, not many people are wearing private label, non-branded footwear. So I think if you go category by category, and these retailers have adjusted. The Macy's, like appliances is a category where you buy name brands. You don't buy generic brands. Like people want KitchenAid, they want, Rubbermaid, they want all these brands, Vitamix, whatever they are. Like it matters to them. And I think that's what you're seeing is the retailers have now adjusted. They're also the beneficiary of basically everyone gave up on them and they kind of put their head down and grinded it out. And they realized that at the end of the day, they still know how to run a profitable business. All of these retailers, for the most part, are profitable. They're not growing like they did 20 years ago, but they still are growing. They're healthy. Now the dust has settled from e-commerce, and we know these businesses are going to be smaller than anticipated, and we know a lot of them are going to go away in the next 12 to 24 months.
Yeah, and I think what you're kind of hinting at is the stigma of shopping at a TJ Maxx and Ross isn't what it was when we were kids.
No.
So when we were 12, 13, 14, it would be kind of embarrassing if you were like showed up at junior high or high school and you were like, yeah, I got this at TJ Maxx. Kids would be like, oh, you're a loser, right?
Yeah. Well, I think what, to your point, is that they've done a good job of calling, and this is what they self-proclaim it, as a treasure hunt. And that in the treasure hunt, you are rewarded with great brands at a great price. Yeah. And if you go on TikTok, there's all these people that are shopping at dollar stores and shopping at discount retailers and bragging about the deal they got.
Yes, it's a customer education that didn't exist 25 years ago when we were growing up, because it would be, if you weren't at the mall and you were at the off-price retailer, it's very different. If you're at the off-price retailer, you're like, I just need to get my stuff and leave. If you're at the mall, you're like walking around and you're like, I want to make sure my friends see that I'm shopping at these certain stores. And that's what's changed, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we'll continue to see that. And I think in a recession, the stock prices are basically saying that we believe this market is going to continue to rapidly grow and be an important part of the retail kind of mix, given all the recession talk. So it'll be really interesting to see, because this weekend,
I have a feeling. Let's predict. My prediction is that it's going to be pretty soft this weekend.
Yeah,
like
it should be.
Overall retail, not off price. I'm just saying, just overall, like people buying TVs and appliances and whatever deals that typically are the Black Friday specials. I think we're going to see a shockingly soft number. And I don't know. I have a friend that texted me right before the pod. He's like, Tom Ford has a 50% off sale in Beverly Hills.
But that's my point. It actually could be okay, because you are seeing, you are seeing some of the best brands in the world with pretty aggressive discounts in the market. That may get, we know there's still cash in these savings accounts. You give them what they want. People might say, you know what? I'm going to pick up not one Tom Ford suit, I'm going to pick up two. And you may see it, a top line number.
Yeah, you're right. I hear what you're saying. You're saying basically like the top line number may effectively be good because the high end brands, the high ticket items are discounting. Whereas 4 months ago, it was unimaginable for a luxury brand to discount.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's, and what exactly at Tom Ford is 50% off? Give me some idea of categories.
He's going to be there at 3 p.m. and I'll have him text me, because if it's good enough deals, I might head over.
Yeah, I mean, if you give me 50% off suits, that's a damn good deal. All right. Well, we'll have to see. I mean, we know shopping is so important for this week because it really kicks off the mood of the consumer till Christmas.
So I'm curious. We have 4 people under the age of 28 in this room. Are any of you guys looking for Black Friday deals?
No, they're not the consumer.
Not a chance.
They're not the consumer. I don't think any. It's not a 23-year-old. It's for 35 plus people that own
No, but
homes.
if you think about when we had the 5-4 store in Culver City Mall, Thanksgiving night, midnight, they opened, and it was all young kids.
You know why? These kids in our office live in LA and they don't have discretionary income, right? Like I know we talked about where our store was in the mall. Those stores will still be packed and crowded. But like these kids live in LA, they work in a clothing kind of adjacent business, like very different. Like I think if you live in outside of these cities and you could spend your money in LA about different things. I don't think LA is a good indication of Black Friday. I think Black Friday is about discount on televisions, appliances, sure, some clothing. It's just about getting deal on high ticket items you've been waiting all year for. That's what it's for. Like, okay, we're going to go buy that couch this weekend. We're going to go buy that refrigerator. We're going to go buy that washer and dryer. That's what, to me, Black Friday and Cyber Monday about.
And I think the messaging of how soft the economy is, layoffs every day. So I just got an alert today, just now. HP's cutting 12% of their workforce.
Okay.
Obviously, Meta laid off their people. So like the big giants are laying off people. And I think everyone's going to look at their own lives and be like, if I, work at even a Fortune 500 company, I could potentially be laid off really soon without a job, because I don't think hiring's coming back for 12 to 18 months.
Yep.
And I think it's going to be really soft. I think people are just going to hunker down.
Yeah. I'm interested to see how it plays out. The other thing is, we talked about travel being one of the biggest weekends of the year with Thanksgiving, people going back to visit their families. Wall Street Journal came out with the best large U.S. airports in America. I don't know if you've clicked on this link yet. Did you see what number one is?
I have not. You want me to
make
guess? So I've had multiple people tell me that the LaGuardia Airport post they're redone is incredible. Because it used to be the biggest shithole.
It's not considered a large airport.
It's not. Okay, large airport. Definitely not LAX. I can guarantee that.
LAX came in at number 6, which is shocking.
I think there might be just 6 large airports. That's the problem.
So this list has 20 large airports. I'll give you the worst 2, Newark and JFK, which I agree. Those are the worst. They're disasters. Number 1 airport.
Number 1 large city. Is it SFO?
Yep, that's it.
Okay. Wow, good guess.
Atlanta, number 2, Minneapolis, number 3, Detroit 4, Phoenix 5, and LAX 6.
Got it.
I mean, LAX is a disaster.
You can't get an Uber out of LAX.
No, I mean, we had staff fly in the other day, and they said that like they just gave up and all took taxis because it was a joke.
Well, so even if you order an Uber Black out of LAX, it's 30 to 40 minutes to get a car.
And they half the time they ask you where you're going, and then if it's not convenient for them, they cancel it all the time.
Yeah,
like it is. And then if you go to the Uber X slot and it's late at night, they literally won't come and pick you up. Literally, no one's coming there. It's a joke. Transportation out of LA.
I don't know what. Didn't LAX had some exorbitant amount of money for their redo? Like, where did that go?
I don't know. Probably with SBF.
Yeah, maybe they put it in crypto.
Yeah, it's all gone. It's a joke. Well, I'm really curious. There are some travel. I mean, there's like weather conditions in the Northeast and different parts of the country that are experiencing kind of, winter storms. So we're curious to see if that affects travel. Hopefully it's a smooth travel, because I know how frustrating these delays are during this time of year, because, all these people are maxed to the capacity. So I will give you this one piece of advice. If you are flying this weekend, be extra patient. Be kind to all the people that are working, because you have no idea what they're going through. Don't be the asshole on the plane, coming in all drunk, acting like an idiot. Just be nice. It's not that hard.
And especially if you don't have kids and you see people traveling with kids, let them cut in front of you.
Yeah, who cares?
I mean, traveling with kids, which is what the majority of the airports are.
Yeah.
It's tough.
Yeah, absolutely. I like that. I'm flying tomorrow, so please, if you see me, be kind. Here's a big headline number. Nothing shocking here. Investor home purchases dropped 30%. which this falls in line with the decline in overall home sales. Obviously, higher borrowing costs because of higher rising rates. I think everyone thought the housing market's going to be this one anomaly, like it's going to stay where everything else has collapsed. It's just a matter of time now. Housing prices are going to drop. The demand has completely dropped. Though I do think certain markets are going to fare better than others, like that always happens. But you are going to see a decline in prices everywhere. It's just happening. I don't believe that there's going to be no decline everywhere.
Yeah, it's a lagging indicator. And I think home prices, like if you're going to sell your home, you're going to have to drop your price.
Yeah.
And because there's just no buyers. If you need to move for whatever reason, because you have a new job or your family wants to go to another city or whatever, there's no way whatever price you thought was 6 months ago, you're going to get today.
Yeah.
And even amongst our friend group who people are moving to rent.
Yeah.
And I don't have a personal friend that has bought a house in 2022. Do you?
Yeah. No.
And we have a lot of friends.
Can't think if anybody has.
Not one person I could tell you from my social circles has bought a house in 2022.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's, if you just looked at it anecdotally, I have heard people buying. I know some people tangentially who have made offers on homes. I don't know if they actually ended up buying them. But yeah, that sounds right. And I was reading a statistic, I'm trying to find it, about how many apartment units are coming online nationally next year. It is insane. So we know rents are going down. Like there is some like staggering number that's about to come online across America. And, specifically I was looking at in LA, which, is still having very high rents. So if all these units are about to come online, you should see even rents finally come down, which, as we know, is kind of the big kind of indicator of inflation right now.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, it seems like everything's cooling.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we have much left in the tank here to keep anything from dropping.
I think the stock market's sensing it. The S&P just broke 4,000 today, which is a level that S&P has not hit. So that's indicating that people think the Fed will slow down because the real economy data is showing a very different story than what the Fed is projecting.
Yeah, so, like we discussed, it definitely feels like prices are cooling across the board and everything. We're seeing that the Federal Reserve meeting is going to happen in December, and they'll indicate what the market looks like. But I just don't think inflation has officially cooled yet at all. But I think there's enough indication that things will come down. I just don't know if the Fed needs to see actual numbers come down before they make a change in their behavior.
Yeah, no, I think that's right. And the general mood is I don't think people feel as whatever your income level was as rich as you were 10 months ago. I think that's without a doubt. Yeah.
I'm sure you guys talked this on last episode, but the news, did you guys talk about Bob Iger in the last episode?
Yeah, we definitely talked about it, but there was very little news at the time. So all it was the headline, because we recorded it around 8 p.m. on a Sunday, and it was just like blockbuster, Iger's coming back. And then since then, there's been so many different podcasts and news articles of like what that means, what happened. And it's a pretty fascinating story.
What have you heard? Because I'm hearing that this guy basically shit the bed on an earnings call in November and didn't take it seriously, and everyone lost complete confidence. Does that sound right?
I think that's part of the story. So I think what's happened, if you just do the timeline of events, so Iger steps down February 25th of 2020. Okay. We know what happened in March of 2020 in the world. So he stepped down right before COVID lockdowns, everything. And clearly, like, they have parks in China and businesses in China. So they knew that the world's about to look very differently, especially Bob Iger, because he's a, global CEO. And he steps down. then Bob Chapek, which is his handpicked successor, who comes from the parks business. So he comes in as CEO, and then the next 2 years, it's this focus on streaming. And the streaming business, as we know, is just like extremely tough. They lost $1.5 billion in the last quarter just on streaming. And so that business didn't look as good as it did 12, 24 months ago. Remember a year ago, I think we did a podcast and we saw their streaming numbers and we were like, holy smokes, this thing is going to compete with everyone. But we know a lot of their users are from like India and Asia that don't pay the same price that Americans pay. Yeah. So it's a money losing business. And I think Iger was fell out of favor with his own handpicked CEO, and I think just kind of Game of Thrones him. That's what it like appears. And you know, he's 71 and he wants to come back and save the day. And it's a really tall task because the rest of the business, which is super profitable, is other than the parks, obviously their cable business is going to continue to decline in profitability because cable is just a declining business. And you have to figure out streaming. So the only way you turn this around is you figure out streaming. And I'm very...
yeah, sure. But I think part of it is what you're learning with TJX and Ross hitting all-time highs is what do investors care about right now is profits, right? Mm-hmm. So if you want a stock pop, obviously the stock pop with him being announced as CEO, returning, you got an immediate 5, 6, 7%.
I think it was like 10. Yeah,
I think
10%.
When it was 10, I think it tiered off because of the day. I think if he goes and says we're going to cut costs on streaming, I bet you the stock pops again.
Yeah, it's like what Facebook had to do with Meta.
Yes.
Hey, we're stepping down. We're taking the gas off the pedal.
Yes, exactly. And I think that's really the course of action is that like focus on core businesses. We know cable is declining. It's not over. It's still just declining. No. And I think the way that you save that part of the business is ESPN is quietly making pretty big strategic bets into gambling. I think they're going to be a mega player in gambling. And I wouldn't be surprised as, you know, laws change. You're going on ESPN, on TV and on their website, you're gambling. The Monday Night Football is basically a gambling hub. They make bigger investments in fantasy football. And I just think ESPN becomes this gambling machine. And I actually think the business turns around. I mean, America, the way people are obsessed with fantasy football and gambling, like why is NFL popular in Mexico City, Germany, and UK? It is because of gambling. NFL has built their entire product around gambling. It's so fucking efficient. No other sport in the world, like it's not fun to gamble on soccer. I'm sorry, it's just not. It's so much more fun to gamble on the NFL than any other sport.
So here, I have a question that no one in the mainstream media will bring up. If you think about brand, so take out live sports, because ESPN's relevant because they have the NBA, they have college football, and they have the NFL.
Yep.
And then they have Stephen A. Smith. They have 4 things. Yeah. That's the whole network.
But they have the rights to NFL. They have rights.
I just said that. They have the NBA, college football, NFL.
Yeah.
And they have Stephen A. Smith. That's the entire network. Yeah. Everyone else is just a pawn in their kind of like machine. Barstool Sports made a huge bet on gambling early.
Yeah.
And I would argue from an average sports fan, if you take away the live rights, Barstool has a better brand than ESPN.
So sure, to probably a core consumer of that like gambling demo.
Not even gambling demo. Pardon My Take is the #1 sports podcast in America.
Yeah, the thing is like podcasts are still very new. It's not like
I know podcasts are new, but people are even in this somewhat niche of a product. They're voting Barstool over voting ESPN.
Okay, so my point is this: when you have the streaming rights, you have the eyeballs. Yeah. So once you if you can merge the eyeballs, which this company has been able to do over time, is how do you just integrate gambling into live television? And Peyton Manning is telling you what he has action on tonight while he's commentating the Monday Night Football game. It's going to convert to a lot of people. And look, it doesn't even need to be the number one place for it. It could still print a ton of cash for Disney. And the reality is Barstool's not for everyone. Barstool's for a very specific cohort of human beings in America. It does not cater to the majority of men, right? And so I think ESPN is still, they got the mouse. They have ways to integrate gambling in a way that I don't think any other company can. And they'll adjust. You could see it. The programming is changing. They brought Pat McAfee into college football and into the NFL. Like, they know they were behind the 8 ball. They know they got a little too crazy. Like, they're going to come. They
got too stiff. That's why they had to bring. I think Pat McAfee was a reaction to Barstool.
Yeah,
because they were like, we need to bring that sort of content into our realm of sports commentary.
Yeah, and I think it'll continue to happen. They're going to keep getting younger. They're going to keep bringing those people on, and that'll change the demo. And I think, I think. But
isn't Iger's whole job at this point is to figure out what to do with streaming?
I think you just cut expenses. That's it. That's what you do.
You just make it a smaller business and be profitable?
Yeah, exactly. You can't,
because there's rumors
$29.
Like, is he gonna buy TikTok? Is he gonna merge with Netflix? These are all the rumors that are going around.
He can't buy TikTok. TikTok's bigger. ByteDance is bigger than Disney. What are you talking about buying TikTok?
Disney's a $175 billion market cap. ByteDance trades at like $350 billion.
Exactly. You're not buying anything. Just chill out.
So what's the solution? Just cutting costs? You think he came back to be a restructuring CEO?
No, I think he'll make a big bet on ESPN and gambling. I think he streamlines.
He's notoriously he was against the mouse and gambling. So you think he's changed his tune during the pandemic? You
don't think Mickey's got action this weekend? Mickey's betting everything. He's like, hi, I really like England versus USA. They're going to kick their ass. Yes, Mickey Mouse is betting this weekend. Gambling is just synonymous with the country now. It's not a taboo thing. Everybody is gambling. Women play fantasy sports. Men, kids, everyone plays fantasy sports.
Everyone's in a pick'em league. I mean, I just did a World Cup draft on the way over here.
I don't even know what that means, but it sounds like it's gambling.
Whatever, it's just gambling. It's just like we need an excuse to pay attention.
Exactly. So, I mean, I think, or they spin off ESPN and generates a shit ton of cash. I don't know.
Because Dan Loeb from Third Point, super famous hedge fund guy, is an activist investor that is telling Disney to sell ESPN.
I mean, Barstool should go raise $10 billion and buy that thing. I don't care what anyone says. They have the streaming rights. That's the most. I mean, they have the rights.
But so, how will Wall Street look at? So all these TV rights keep coming up every kind of couple years, right? NBA is coming up, then the SEC is going to come up at some point, the NFL is going to come up at some point, and that price is just going to be driven up because you have Apple and Amazon who can spend unlimited amounts of money for both.
Yeah.
Netflix is probably a little hampered because they're still figuring out their own business model. So you have two guys that really don't care about money.
I know. I think they do. I think Amazon is so disciplined on cost. Frugality is one of their core principles of their company. It's all.
But when you can just, but when you can just bury your competitor,
they won't do it. Not in this climate. Amazon in this climate, if the live rights were up this year in 2023, zero fucking chance Amazon's going to overpay and risk getting their stock hit. They haven't proven that they can monetize live rights like a network television can, right? So
yeah, I don't know what their lift got from Thursday Night Football. Maybe they saw something. I have no idea.
Yeah, and maybe they did, maybe they didn't. And the point is given everyone has to double down on your core business right now. This is not the time to take bets. Amazon is a risk averse company.
So then begs the question, do all these TV rights, which everyone's expecting to be record numbers, don't actually go for those record numbers when everyone's at war?
No, I think they still go for record numbers. I think if you're Disney and you owned ABC, you just have to cut everything else because no one's watching any of that other shit. No one's watching Grey's fucking Anatomy. Okay, just cut it. It needs to go away.
Just buy more sports.
Just have sports on all day. Like, I can't believe NFL's just not on every single day, at least during the season. I want to get home on Tuesday night and on ABC, talk about football.
Yeah.
Recap the week.
It's fascinating how quickly all of this changed the moment the Fed started raising rates. Everyone looked like a genius for 14 years when it was 0% interest rates. And the moment the Fed started raising, every business has cracks in their armor.
Yeah.
Just think about it. It's 10 months, 12 months, every industry.
Okay, so you're talking about people that have, everyone looks like a genius. You know who looks like a genius right now? Saudi Arabia. They just beat Argentina and Messi. I don't know anything about soccer. I know zero. I've heard Messi.
I probably know like one element above zero, but very little.
Okay, I could tell you Saudi Arabia probably is not good at soccer.
Yep.
And Argentina is probably a favorite to win it all.
Can I give you some odds?
Yeah.
Before the game, 200-1 for Saudi to win.
No, it wasn't that much. I think it was 25-1. That's what I heard.
I think it went to 500-1 after Messi scored.
Yeah.
The first goal.
Our friend Mikey was telling me it was at 150-1 once the goal scored. So maybe.
Something around.
I heard it was 25-1 pregame, and it went to some skyrocketing number afterwards. Look, the beautiful thing about World Cup is you just don't know what's going to happen. It's what makes it so fun. I was not awake because it happened obviously very early in the morning. But as soon as I woke up, I think it just ended, and I got the alert. Biggest upset in World Cup history. Saudi Arabia beats Argentina, and I know Messi played for Argentina. I mean, MBS was present at the game.
He was there.
He was there. Unbelievable. I mean,
is there a chance MBS just paid the goalie $100 million and said, "We got to win"? The Argentinian goalie just wired it to someone's account and said, "Just let a couple goals in."
I hope he did. Then it'd be awesome. That's unbelievable if that's what he said.
Would you put it past him?
He's a genius if he did that. Because can you imagine the country's morale right now? I mean, we know this is a very notorious thing for China, why they spend so much time on the Olympics.
Yeah, it brings pride.
It's pride, right? Like, especially in a time when people are looking down on you as a country, and you go and rip 2 goals against Argentina and beat arguably one of the greatest athletes of all time, then you're like, shit, I can't imagine what was happening in the streets of Saudi Arabia or in the entire UAE, because I'm sure it's just like it's probably like a regional win, not just a country.
Yeah, no, it's fascinating because the Middle East is huge. They're huge soccer fans.
Yeah.
So Messi is like way bigger in the Middle East than he is in the US. Obviously, forget Europe and South America. But like in the Middle East, Messi and Ronaldo are like absolute gods. Yeah. You could see the videos when they walk around. It's chaos. And I was of the view that there were going to be more Messi fans in the stands, just because even in the Middle East, they just worship Messi. So it's crazy that Saudi won. And it's just, can you think about anyone's public perception that has changed in 2 years, where MBS was a pariah in the Western world?
Yeah.
And now with oil prices as high as they are, and the whole world needing OPEC to produce more oil, and all the Western countries coming to kiss his ass, every single venture, private equity investor that runs a fund has been to the Middle East in the last 4 months. Every single one. And 3 years ago, they say, "Oh, we didn't want to take money from dictators and people that have human rights violations." And now everyone is there.
By the way, you saw today Biden backed immunity for MBS involving.
That's a rumor. It hasn't been confirmed, but yes, that's on the
it's
table.
Everywhere.
It's on the table for sure.
Yeah, I mean that's why they.
But I'm not. This is not even about politics. It's just all it took was for interest rates to go up, and everyone lost their morality.
Yeah, and Saudi Arabia is going to be in the World Cup finals.
How much do you think he'd have to pay to get in the World Cup finals? 5 billion? Because some countries would be like, no, we're not going to take it.
20 billion.
20 billion, right?
20 billion. World Cup is so big. I saw that Qatar spent like $300 billion or something to get the World Cup to the, between all the development. And by the way, I got a message from a Kathy that's there, that's getting the VVIP treatment. And he said it's fantastic.
Should J-Pal be up for war crimes? Now we're just forgiving everything that was done in all these parts of the world.
Yeah, I mean, it's incredible. And, what's interesting is like there's a lot of controversy about what's happening over the World Cup, and specifically around like rights in those countries and, how they treat, LGBTQ and, other groups. And obviously you're more than welcome to protest it. You're more than welcome to disagree. I disagree with it. The problem is that when you go to these countries and you go spit in their face in the way they live, and you could call it hypocrisy, you could call it whatever. And then you're wondering why the consequences are the consequences. You just can't. Other countries run their worlds differently, and they run their people differently. And I saw someone tweet about it, like, why is the Western way the only way in terms of like the way humanity should live? And I think I don't agree with that, but shit, I'm not going to roll up to the World Cup game, pissing all over their way of living. It's not my place. Fuck, I'm not going to make a statement on that.
I think it's different if you're a tourist. We've both traveled to numerous countries where there's, different way of living and different, what we would consider, not the way we want to live, but you go and if you go to that country, you have to respect their laws.
Yeah.
So if you like to smoke weed and you go to Saudi Arabia and start smoking weed, expect the consequence of smoking weed.
Yes, exactly.
So when you travel to places, you have to know their laws and actually figure out. If you want to be a human rights activist, that's very different than just being a tourist.
Yeah.
And I mean, we can scream and yell about every other country and all their transgressions, which there's many, but we have children that can't go to school safely in the United States of America.
Yeah.
And we have school shootings.
Yeah.
Which don't happen anywhere else in the world.
Yeah. So that's my point. Is
you can't just be moral police and say, I'm not going to this country, that country. And it's more just virtue signaling. And if you want to cause change, I mean, choose a different path. The World Cup probably isn't it.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to get away with interrupting their parade at the World Cup. There's zero fucking chance that any change is going to happen during this time. I think, you're more than welcome to bring a light to it. You're more than welcome to handle it however you want. I would just say, if you are there, enjoy soccer, follow their rules. If they don't want you to drink beer in the stands, then don't drink
and if
beer.
if you go to jail breaking one of their rules, don't complain.
Yeah, exactly. So I think I think it's tough, and I get it. I understand people are frustrated by some of their rules and their laws, and you don't like them. But I'm guessing most of our listeners don't have to live by them. So yes, it's unfortunate that other people do, but those people have found a way to live within that in their society, and it's really hard to judge people when you're not living their life.
Yeah, and I actually heard a take from one of our friends that he believes that a lot of the scrutiny that has come under the Qatar World Cup is because of Islamophobia. Yeah. So people searching for a reason of how they live and what they do, and then broadcasting to the world and say these are terrible people.
Yeah.
Which I thought was not a terrible take. And you just have to be cognizant of everyone's country is different. We have flaws. Everyone has flaws.
Yeah.
And,
no one's perfect. Yeah, exactly.
And when we'll go to a place, abide by their rules.
Yeah. I agree.
Or don't go there.
Yeah, I agree. All right. A quick break with our favorite iced tea brand, St. James. Our good friend over at Brad gives us those incredible flavors, low in sugar, high in taste, high in value, and most importantly, the #1 discount in the world. head over to Amazon.com, search for St. James, and at checkout, use the code GroupChat40 for 40% off. GroupChat40, 40% off. This is an incredible value for all you Catholics. He wanted to give us the biggest discount we've ever had. And this is a premium product. Iced tea, low in sugar, incredible flavors. My kids and I love it. We drink it all the time. Back to the episode. All right, let's move on to winners, losers, content. Anand, what do you have for winner of the week?
My winner of the week is sports fans. Like we talked about, this is like one of the best weeks of sports. We have Thanksgiving, 3 NFL games, World Cup, college football, USC's hot again. And, I think it's great. It's a great time to be by a TV.
Yeah, absolutely. My winner, I have 2 winners. One is just Americans in general. This is an awesome time of year, this long weekend. You get to be with your family that you may or may not like, but at least you get to see them. You get to watch sports, you get to eat like a pig, and you like to go shopping, like I said. So I think enjoy it. A lot of people like to make fun of this weekend, but it's still precious time with family, so enjoy it. The other is, this is purely a rumor I read on Twitter, but I'm going to give it to him if this is what his move is. It is rumored that Mark Zuckerberg might be stepping down next year.
I saw that rumor. Facebook already denied it, but yes, I did see the rumor.
There's some truth in every rumor. This guy may have been drunk with a friend, and he said, "You know what? Fuck this. I'm out of here." And maybe his friend reported it back, and Meta may not even know about the discussion. I wouldn't be. I think it's on the table.
It's probably on the table, and I'm gonna draw like a larger point. I think the moment you go on the mat, you make a life change. Jiu-jitsu. Oh, Giselle is now rumored to be dating her jiu-jitsu trainer, and they were spotted moving into a home. He's a jiu-jitsu, and she decided to leave her husband, or I don't know who left who, but whatever. There was a massive life change with Giselle and Tom Brady. The jiu-jitsu was a theme, and same with Zuck. He got on jiu-jitsu, and he spent $200 billion on Meta and the metaverse, and maybe he's leaving. Who knows? I think the mat's a problem.
You think he is escaping with his jiu-jitsu instructor, whatever that young man's name is?
No, I think once you get on the mat, you make life changes.
I believe it. I'm sure it's a transformational experience for people that do it. They start thinking about life in a different way. I would not be surprised if this guy just disappears and says, "Fuck it. This is stupid. Why am I dealing with these idiots?"
The mat's the common theme.
And has more money, left his impact on society. I wouldn't be surprised if it's also one of these things where step away for a few years, do the Steve Jobs stance, go away, get some clarity, come back in 5 years. What are you, 41 years old or whatever? And go and crush the next 30, right?
Because if you think about it, we have very close friends who've done jiu-jitsu, martial arts at the most highest levels for 2 decades. They are a different kind of breed.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you say that? The people we're talking about, they think about life very differently than the rest of us.
Yeah.
And I think once you get in that world, you start thinking about life differently.
Okay. Well, let's see what happens. I'm curious to see. Who is your loser on it?
My loser is Elon.
Wow.
I think he's in over his skis.
That's so
Twitter.
funny. My loser is Twitter haters, because I think Elon's hot.
I think he has all-time engagement, and he's going to have lowest revenue ever in the next 12 months.
For Tesla?
No, for Twitter.
I agree on that. I agree that I think the revenue
and I think he's going to hand the business over to someone. The amount of debt he has is staggering. I think it's like $24 billion.
Yeah,
of debt.
Everyone keeps saying Elon spent $44 billion. Elon did not spend $44 billion. He did not pay $44 billion.
I think the split is like $16 billion equity, 24, whatever the math
and
is.
He didn't put up all 16 of cash.
No, he probably put up 5 or 6, I think.
Yeah, which is an immaterial amount of money for him.
Yeah, I think by any account, he overpaid by 30 plus billion.
Yeah, he definitely overpaid. I think it'll be a restructuring.
But that's what's going to cripple the business.
No, but
because
you know
that
this
interest
better.
expense.
Yeah, but dude, come on. You know, okay, you're the lender, and you know the lenders in this business are the who's who of Wall Street.
Of course,
we know he has a SpaceX IPO. We know he's going to be doing debt deals on Tesla. We know he's going to have a boring company IPO. They are going to shove that interest up their own asses and do fucking nothing. Zero is going to happen. They're going to publicly look like they caused him some pain. It's not real. So
you think he's going to be able to keep restructuring the business until he figures it out?
Yeah.
And I don't believe the sentiment, oh, he figured out rockets, he figured out cars, he can figure out how to make Twitter. I think that's a really lazy kind of line of thought.
Yeah, I agree with that. I'm comfortable with that. I don't think one has anything to do with the other.
We're walking into a softening advertising market that has already been softened in the last 10 months. It's going to be even softer.
He did
and
post...
we've never seen Twitter convert for advertisers at scale.
Yeah, because it hasn't been a good product for advertisers.
So it really should be a non-for-profit, right?
Well, I have to give him 12 months. In 12 months, I can be a better judge of that. Twitter added 1.6 million daily active users this past week, another all-time high.
I don't think he's going to have any slowdown in usage. I don't think Twitter's going anywhere. I just don't think the business works at the price and debt he raised.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that's not going to matter because he's just too valuable to Wall Street. And I think they will just restructure it for him.
Yeah, and I think Tesla's going to suffer because of it.
I don't know if he's needed a Tesla anymore. That shit's humming. I mean,
it's humming, but still
do you need him to sleep on the factory floor there?
You might, if you want to catch up to GM and Ford.
I don't know.
I mean, just Google the revenue. It's not even close.
I know, but look at the value of the businesses. That's not even close. It's because they still believe Tesla's also extremely profitable. It's not an unprofitable business. And so
I'm just saying, I don't think Tesla's still going to have to grow into their valuation.
I agree. There's a lot of risk still there. There's no doubt in my mind.
As much as I know Tesla's still trading at a very high valuation, but it didn't get punished like the growth stocks did. The growth stocks all got punished because they're you have to grow into your valuation. And I think Tesla's going to face the same thing.
Yeah, I agree with that. I don't disagree. There's more pain in the stock. All right. Content. Sports. It's my winner. Just go watch some sports this week. Yeah. My content is more specific. I'm not watching all the sports. I'll watch some NFL. I'll watch USA England World Cup.
When's that?
Friday.
Oh, wow.
And I will 100% be watching USC pummel Notre Dame into the ground and send those guys back to Indiana or wherever the hell they're from.
Yeah, it's South Bend.
Whatever. South, north, east, west. I don't give a fuck. They're going to beat the shit out of them. I told you they'd beat the shit out of UCLA, which, sure, the score was only 3 points, but we're clearly the better team. We have the best player in college football history, Caleb Williams. So
definitely best player in the country.
Definitely. That's it. That's all I got. Anything else?
No. Happy Thanksgiving. Go spend some time with your family and friends. And it's actually interesting because I actually want to bring this up. So last 6 Thanksgivings, I feel like crypto's been at the top of the dinner table from its peak, its crash, to peak, crash, peak, crash. And how many conversations is SBF going to be brought up? I would say 70% of Thanksgivings in America.
Yeah. I mean, I think crypto, I saw like a cartoon where your uncle or your grandma goes, "What happened to crypto?" I think crypto will be the butt of everyone's turkey.
Yeah, I think it's going to be top of mind. It's top of every news site in the world right now.
Yeah.
And Everyone's gonna have a take, because you're gonna have your uncle who always said it was a fraud. Say like, "Hey, I told you," and then you're gonna have little Jimmy saying, who probably lost all his money in
blockchain
FTX.
is the future.
So DM us your crypto stories from Thanksgiving.
Yeah. All right, everyone. Have a great long weekend, and we'll see you back here on Sunday.